Good morning. Good morning. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. Hopefully, you all are doing well. Hopefully, you're having a good day. Mitchell, Merry Christmas. If you're in the chat, let me know how you're doing today. We've got 3 NFL games to talk about. We got some NBA going on too, but with the 3 NFL games, that is where the majority of my research time went. So, don't really have any NBA picks for you, but we do have NFL. DFS and obviously betting. There's some interesting kind of angles, I think, on this NFL slate with the quarterback situations that we have going on. Third string quarterbacks playing on in every game. Washington is down to their third string quarterback. Minnesota is down to their third string quarterback. And Kansas City is down to their third string quarterback. So we have a third string quarterback playing in every game. That is resulting in some pretty big spreads. As you can see here, Cowboys have steamed. They were around 6.5 early in the week. They're up to 8.5 now. Unabated has it at 10 in favor of the Cowboys. So really, really big spread in favor of the Cowboys there. The Lions are sitting as 7.5-point road favorites over the Vikings. And then we have the Denver Broncos 13.5-point road favorites over the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's kind of dive in. We can talk DFS and betting. I'm just going to run through the bets I like and kind of my thoughts on the games. For if you're playing the 3-game DFS slate, I think a lot of people will build similarly. So like Gibbs and Javante, I think is going to be the chalky running back pairing on DraftKings. And then you have like Harvey, Aaron Jones mixing in there as well. At receiver, the Cowboys guys are at the top: Sutton, Jefferson, J-Mo. Those guys are going to be owned. And then Dak and Bo Nix is who people are going to want to play at quarterback. So if you want to stomach it and play a Josh Johnson in larger field, I think you could get a little bit unique in doing that. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty straightforward 3-game slate just because of the situations that we have going on with some of these teams. It's pretty funny that on Thanksgiving Day we had this great slate, a bunch of 50 totals, good offenses, and then fast forward a month, and this is like what I'm used to the Thanksgiving slate being like: backup quarterbacks, just terrible football probably about to be played. But at the end of the day, terrible football is better than no football. So let's start in the Cowboys game here. Like I said, Cowboys minus 8.5, unabated makes it 10. I do think the Cowboys win this game pretty easily. So I didn't take any sides, but if I was picking a side, Dallas to win big would be my favorite side of any of these games. So I do think Dallas rolls here. It's Javonte Williams is banged up, and this is a short week on a Thursday. So I dabbled with a little bit Malik Davis. I'm going to check what his prop is. I took him over 20.5 rushing yards on FanDuel. I just want to make sure that is what his prop still is. No, so he's up to 23.5 now. I'm still comfortable with the over there. But I like Malik Davis a little bit in this early game from a prop perspective, just with the Javonte being banged up, big spread, short week. If Dallas is winning handily in the second half, I think we see probably more Malik Davis than most people would anticipate. And honestly, I think Malik Davis could play early on in this game more than people think. So Malik Davis over rushing yards is a good look there for me. I also took him to score at plus 230, plus 240, somewhere around there. So Malik Davis, props, and then touchdown in the early game, just betting on the Cowboys winning. And then, Javonte maybe seeing a little bit less work on a short week. On the Washington side, I love Debo today. Debo looks really good to me. I don't think you need to play him in DFS, Mitchell. If you're playing larger field, you can. I don't think he's like a must. because he's 4,300. He doesn't project very well. There's not really like salary constraints on DraftKings. You can kind of play whoever you want. So I don't know how much I'll play of him in DFS. But if you're playing larger field, he's going to be low owned. Obviously, I don't know if he'll be owned he's probably gonna be like 2% owned in like the big tournaments. So I'd be willing to dabble on it a little bit. I think he can play a bigger role, and if he scores a touchdown, I mean he's going to smash the price tag. So yeah, I didn't play him on like my main DFS team, but I think he's fine. It's kind of like a hedge. Like I'm not playing the DFS, but I bet him to score and stuff. So we're kind of covered either way. I really like Debo on the Washington side, though. Dallas, we know under Eberflus plays pretty heavy zone coverage. Debo has always been a zone beater throughout his entire career. He has good numbers against zone this season as well. Now, it's a little bit of an unknown situation with Josh Johnson coming in, but I'm willing to just trust on it. Josh Johnson's not a good quarterback, but this is like a true veteran quarterback. Like he has been around for my entire life playing football. He should be able to just get the ball out to his playmakers. And stylistically, schematically, it's a really good spot for Debo. He hasn't scored in a while either, so he's kind of due for a touchdown in my opinion. And then we have the added angle of Chris Rodriguez popping up with an illness today. I do not think Chris Rodriguez will miss this game. I still expect Chris Rodriguez to play, but we always know Debo's capable of taking an end around or getting a carry in the red zone. Maybe the illness to Chris Rodriguez just aids in that. I don't know. That's an unknown, but I like Debo today for a touchdown on the Washington side. You can take him, anytime, first touchdown, all that stuff. I like Debo and I like Malik Davis from the early game. And that's not to say Malik Davis is my favorite touchdown pick in the game. It's just I expect Dallas to score a lot of points, and I like the value on him. I mean, CD and Pickens are both like plus 110, plus 120. I normally don't bet touchdowns that are plus 120. I just typically I don't do that. I prefer to look out for the value. And then, if we miss a couple picks, it doesn't matter because when we hit one, it's going to pay out, a little bit higher. So that's typically how I do. But obviously, I expect Dak to have a really good game today. In the next game, Detroit and Minnesota. I think the Lions will win this game, but I think Minnesota can put some points up here. I still just don't trust Detroit's defense whatsoever, especially on the back end. Ferguson's fine, Mitchell. He just hasn't done anything lately. He's definitely touchdown or bust though, so I wouldn't really bet on his props. If you want to bet Ferguson to score a touchdown or play him in DFS, I think that's fine. But he's just kind of been touchdown or bust over the last month or so after that hot start to the season. I don't trust Detroit's defense on the back end whatsoever. I know it's Max Brosmer, but people should be able to throw on the Lions regardless of who is playing quarterback. So I do expect the Vikings to score some points today. The Lions, this is like a weird situation because I am scared of Brian Flores. From a Lions perspective, I want to pull up Jared Goff's game log against the Vikings the last couple seasons. So if we look at Goff's, so he played them on November 2nd, and he threw for 284, 2 touchdowns, no picks, which is fine. Jahmyr Gibbs did not do anything in that game. Basically, Amon-Ra St. Brown has been the go-to player against Brian Flores, which would make sense, right? Brian Flores is going to blitz you a lot, and that's kind of what Amon-Ra is very good at beating and helping out with. So I could see Amon-Ra having the best game of the Lions guys or Jameson Williams. I like those guys over Gibbs today from a DFS side of things, and Gibbs is going to be massively owned. So it's definitely a scary fade. Jim, Merry Christmas. Ray, you said you stuck between Kyron or Harvey in standard. Man, so obviously this is a championship race, so congrats for making it to the championship. I'm in one championship myself as well, which is the $300 buy-in league that I drafted on stream. So I'm excited to sweat that out this weekend. But Kyron versus Harvey in a standard league. It's really, really close. I kind of agree with your sentiment there on the volume is going to go Kyron's way, but Harvey's been really good, and they should be winning. It's close. I'd probably have them back to back. I don't have standard projections. I only have PPR, so I can't check that. But if I had to imagine, those guys are probably within 2 spots in like most rankings from each other. So that's really tough. I'd probably just go with your gut. As far as Jefferson or BTJ, I would probably lean Justin Jefferson there. And then for defense, probably just roll Seattle or Houston. That one's close too. Dak or Burrow? I'd probably go Dak, Jim. I think he's going to have a good game. Oh, you have Patriots too, right? Yeah, I'd go Patriots D in that one. So Patriots defense, Jefferson over BTJ. The running backs, it's kind of, I don't know. Those guys are close. I'd probably stick with your gut. If you have Kyron now, maybe keep him. But yeah. All right. So in the Detroit game, though, it should be a big Amon-Ra spot. I do think the Lions win the game, but I expect the Vikings to put up some points. So my favorite touchdown scorer in the Detroit-Minnesota game is actually Jordan Addison. Addison's been targeted super heavily from Max Brosmer when he's been in. He's been close as well a couple times to touchdowns. So I feel like he's due a little bit. And him and Jefferson both are just going to cook like this secondary. I really think that the Vikings can score some points. So I like Addison to score there. Obviously, Amon-Ra is always fine. Any of the Lions guys are fine to score touchdowns. They're going to score points. But Addison's my favorite look there. We also have 2 backup tight ends playing in this game that are going to get run. And you guys know how I love to bet on these tight ends. So on the Detroit side, Shane Zylstra is going to play the most for them. And he's like 5 or 6 to 1 for an anytime. And then on the Vikings side, Josh Oliver, he just scored like 2 touchdowns the other day. So he's going to play with no Hawkinson. He's going to have a bigger role. So just something to note there. I'm going to give you guys some parlays at the end of the stream. I don't normally do a ton of parlays, but it's Christmas, so we're going to have some fun. But I took one that had some backup tight ends in it. So we'll talk about that at the end. But yeah, I like Addison a lot in the Minnesota-Detroit game. And I like Amon-Ra over 6.5 receptions. He hasn't hit that line the last couple games. But like I said, he's always done really well against Minnesota. And I think, especially coming off that close loss last week, I could see this being an Amon-Ra spot. In the night game, Denver, Kansas City, Denver should win here, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's like randomly closer than the spread indicates, just because Denver has had an issue with like playing in these close games this season. Like they've done it numerous times. So even though Kansas City is like completely dead, 3rd string quarterback, none of these, no Rashee Rice, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's randomly just like kind of a sleepy, closer game. But Denver should definitely win. I like a long shot touchdown scorer in that game as well, and that is Mr. Lil Jordan Humphrey. So he just scored a few games ago. I'm trying to see what his odds are right now. I think I took him at like plus 470. He's plus 460 right now. So Lil Jordan Humphrey, anytime first touchdown and 2+, took some dabbles in this game. Pat Bryant is going to miss for the Broncos tonight. The last time that he missed, we saw just a ton of routes from Humphrey, and he was on the field a ton. And look, I don't know. You know how Sean Payton is. He's obsessed with the guys that he likes. He had him in New Orleans. He brought him to Denver. I don't know why, but I could see Humphrey being on the field a lot again tonight with no Pat Bryant. And anytime I'm getting somebody that's in a 13.5-point spread and I think they're going to be on the field a lot, I'm certainly fine taking almost 5-1 for an anytime touchdown there. So Humphrey, my favorite in the night game for a touchdown. On the Chiefs side, you're getting real dicey. I just don't know. This could potentially be Travis Kelce's last home game as a Kansas City Chiefs if he retires. We just don't know. So I don't know. You have a little bit of a narrative there. You're getting over 4-1. I didn't play it, but it's just something to think about. I like Humphrey in that game and probably Evan Ingram if I had to pick another one. I guess you could dabble on like Denver defense as well, 6-1, but yeah. So that's my thoughts there. For touchdown parlays, I'll give you the odds on these ones that I took. So I did one, which was like a chalkier one, Pickens, St. Brown, Troy Franklin. That's 13, basically 14-1. So if you guys are joining late, George Pickens, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Troy Franklin, anytime touchdown parlay, 14-1. That was the chalkier one I took. Then I took just my two favorites from like the earlier games, Debo and Jordan Addison. That pays 11-1, just to two people, Debo and Jordan Addison. 11-1. And then I took, and I'll tweet these out after so you guys have them. But and then I took the long shot one, like I said, which is Shane Zylstra, Josh Oliver, and Evan Ingram. And that one pays like 125-1, just like crazy odds. That's very small play, nothing serious. We're just having some fun because it's Christmas. But that would be a total classic Christmas slate with Josh Oliver and Shane Zylstra randomly scoring. But yeah, other than that, that's all I got. Cowboys would be my favorite side if you're looking for a side play. Malik Davis over 20.5 rushing yards. My favorite prop. It's moved up a few yards, but I'm still fine with the over there. I think he could play more than people think. You could sprinkle on him maybe like 40 or 50 plus rush yards too. But yeah, so I hope you guys have a great Christmas. I will be live tomorrow at the normal time, 4:00. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'll be live at 11 a.m. both days because we have college football and NFL. So if you guys are looking for the schedule, tomorrow, 4 p.m. stream, Saturday, 11 a.m., Sunday, 11 a.m. So I will be live for the rest of the week. Good luck today with all your DFS bets, all that stuff. And I'll see everybody tomorrow.